Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel, The Dialogues. So today I'm looking at Scott Baio, thank you for my Patreon viewer who put this forward, and I'm going to be looking at his body language, his overall demeanour, and some of the things he says. Now, he's been accused of sexual molestation from a woman who at the time was a girl from age 14 to 18, Nicole Eggart, in Charles in Charge. Some of us may remember that program in the 90s, which I actually do. We will look at his body language and just see where this might be going. Let's have a look.
Here with him as well. And Scott, you just heard Nicole. She says she has no doubt she was under 18 when the two of you had sex. You say she was 18, and you also say you have proof.
I do have proof. Charles in Charge ended in the fall of 1990.
Now, on the get-go, I can see that Scott Baio has got a high voice. So he's coming in with a high voice. And that can indicate that you are very nervous. To a degree, you could be hiding something. I'm not saying that Scott is at this point. You know, most of us at this particular point, if we've been accused of something, will probably come in with a high voice. It's our non-connecting to our body voice.
And she said in the Nick Ritchie interview, the Dirty.com, that we had sex when she was 17, and she said we had sex long after Charles in Charge was done. So Nicole Eggart was born in January of 1972. Charles in Charge ended in the fall of 1990. So that would have made her an adult, 18 plus, and she said that it happened long after Charles in Charge was done.
So I look at everything, and even just there's a little bit of a hesitation. And he said, long after Charles in Charge was done. So for me, it's just something to look at. But he has a point that she did say in another, I think, radio program that she had sex with him when she was 18. However, she is backtracking on that now.
Those are her words.
Correct. And that was a radio interview with Nick Ritchie
And he's very satisfied with that.
that you bring up. But now she says it did happen when the show was filming, that she lied at the time to protect the show because that's what she thought she needed to do.
The bit of a shock, pull back from the situation and to smile. Now, smiling can be tension release.
She lied at the time so I'm trying to figure out which time she's lying and which time she's not lying, because the story seems to change quite a bit. So I can't keep up with it, quite honestly.
I want to also bring up Nick Ritchie. He issued a statement.
In his defense also, he is leaning forward into the conversation, not away. His hands are on the table. When your hands are on the table, it can indicate that you've got nothing to hide. Often women actually tend to put their hands on their laps. Not to say that they've got more things to hide than men, but we've been socialized to put our hands on our laps away from the action. So in a way, it's in his defense.
What happened with you and Nicole when she was 14, 15, 16?
Absolutely nothing. And I find it interesting, Amy.
I mean, this can go either way. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely, the words qualifying statement can indicate. I mean, normally we would say nothing. However, a lot of people say absolutely nothing and they actually mean it. So that's neither here nor there.
That the moment that her first allegation that we had sex when she was 17, which is not true. As soon as that was proven to be 100% false, she comes up with a news story where something happened once a week for years. Now, I don't know if you've ever been on a sitcom set, but on any given day, on every day, and especially Charles in Charge, which was like a picnic every day, it was one of my favorite jobs I've ever done. There's teachers, parents, family, crew, producers, my dad. So how any of this could have happened is absolutely impossible. And
so even though he's saying that there's a lot of people on the set, he might be overdoing it. That's just an indication. He might be overdoing it to hone his points home.
And I find it, and I don't know how anybody can
Again, high voice.
believe what she's saying when her first allegation of having sex when we were 17 had been proven to be 100% false.
So here, 100% false. He's fumbling over his words. And for me, that's like, I need to dig deeper with this, what's going on here, plus a slight hesitation.
And her story keeps changing. It comes up, she makes up new things.
She got
and by the way, I'm not the first person she's done this to.
Okay.
So he's bringing in a qualifying background here to qualify what he's been accused of or what he's trying to say.
She got very specific about you. She says Eggart said
And he had a hard swallow there.
you had sexual contact with her, touching her inappropriately when she was 14, she says, and you mentioned this, that it was not a one-time incident, that this happened like once a week. How would you describe your relationship with Eggart on the set? Was it strictly professional? Was it flirtatious?
Amy, I can tell you, and I mean this sincerely, one of the most fun things I've ever done.
Talented girl, had a bit of a head swipe, so it's a critical yes, it's true, but he's a little bit critical about her talent.
Set, everybody liked each other, everybody got along.
So if we go back there a bit, I won't go back, but because I can't on this particular player, his head was shaking when he was saying an affirmative thing. So for me, that's a mini red flag.
Inappropriate.
And he's displeased. His tongue came through his mouth.
It was impossible, because when a child is on a set, they're either in school or they're on the set with the teacher and their parents.
So you were never alone with her?
No, unless I was in a scene alone with her. And
So, I mean, he was pretty quick with that. No, he was not alone with her on the set.
Directors and producers and crew guys are watching. Never. It's impossible.
So that's quite congruent what he's saying there. I mean, it's matching up with his words, put it that way.
And the amount of time that we spent on the show was not.
And you never saw her off the set?
Displeased again. Well, he's nervous. He's licking his lips.
Off the set? I saw her in the studio a lot. Yeah, off the set.
She mentioned your garage in one of her tweets.
I have no idea what that means. I have no idea.
For me, that was dilly-dallying. He has no idea. And plus he smiled. So it's tension release because he's nervous and he's been hammered. I've got to say, he's been hammered by this interviewer. And she's clearly got a bias against him. That is clear. Yeah, he's stammering a little bit about finding what actually happened. So if you went through what you went through, you would know what was going on and you'd be forthcoming. So there's a bit of a dilly-dally. The thing is, which is fun, which I found interesting, is that his language didn't quite match her questioning. That's what I'm saying, he's dilly-dallying a little bit.
Aggressively sought me out because she wanted me to be her first so that she would be good for her boyfriend. Those are her words.
It's really hard to decipher whether he's telling the truth there or not. There wasn't a lot to give away apart from the high voice and the fast blinking of the eyelids here, which tells me he's nervous and in distress, actually. His body's in distress. That can mean that he's trying to get his point across, or that, he could be lying.
She seduced her. When you made your online rebuttal, you said she seduced you.
Yes.
And you stand by that.
Absolutely.
You
A little bit of a shoulder shrug.
weren't attracted to her. You didn't seek her out. You didn't
Absolutely
try to
not.
date her.
Absolutely not.
And
No.
Again, qualifying language, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, would have been a better way of saying this.
And something else of interest, you also told Eggart to go to police if she had these allegations, and she now says she may do just that. Do you have any concerns?
No.
Okay. He does have concerns because there's massive hesitation there.
Why would I have a concern over something that I didn't do? And rather than take your case to social media, where people tend to beat up people like me, why not do it through the proper channels?
So he is playing victim here.
Instead of making the appearance, because you put up allegations like that, and it becomes like wildfire.
Well, we know that you have certainly
He's under stress because he's got little ticks coming through and his jaw's quite tensed up.
spoken up loudly and
listen,
in many ways.
And I have to tell you one more thing, Amy. I mean, and people are forgetting this, and it's very important how this is affecting me. Why somebody would come after me, my reputation, and stop me from doing something that I love doing, that I've been doing since I'm 9 years old.
And he's really angry about that. He is angry about that.
And more important than that is my wife.
And he actually really cares about his wife too.
And I have a 10-year-old daughter. And my 10-year-old daughter does not need to be hearing about this from friends at school, these false allegations. Her job is not to defend me.
He is almost crying. He is almost crying. Now, he had a side swipe That is where you are very distressed. You are very displeased as well. So he was not happy when he was talking about the stress his daughter was going through or would have to put up with at school to defend his own father. So he does not like that.
My job is to defend my daughter. Her job is to be 10 years old. And that's why this has got to stop.
Stop it.
So he does. So he wants us to stop because of the daughter and the wife. Look, there are a lot of points that he's made, there are a lot of points that he said which actually back himself up. You know, the fact that Nicole Eggart has gone back and forth on her word, and that, you know, if this went to a court of law, it may not stack up. Now, there's quite a bit of hesitation here. You know, a lot of stress, as you would expect if you're going through this sort of thing. If you have been accused of something that you haven't done or have done, it will still bring up intense emotions. I will not call this and say that Scott Baio is definitely guilty of this over Nicole Eggart, because we see both points of view here, but you know, it hasn't gone to a court of law and he hasn't been found guilty, so he's actually innocent until proven guilty. So I will stick with that. There are moments where I have seen many red flags, such as hesitations and sort of dilly-dallying and things like that, but I can't hang my hat on that. So here you go. This is the dialogue. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe and share this video. Check out my Patreon page. Thanks for the patrons who have helped me out so far. Cheers.